Hey everybody. Um, I was gonna link something stupid as as I usually do in this last one, but it kind of got me thinking a little bit, and quite honestly, I was a little pissed. I just can't stand the folks on the left that think this kind of dissent is the highest form of patriotism. Simply put, it's not. It's treason, and to call it anything else is just a little naive. So I guess what I was thinking about is sort of the effort that goes into this. It's not just the fact that the Code Pink types want to run all the way across the world and stand in front of a building that may be bombed in the future. They actually have to put some effort into it. There's travel that's involved. There's making contact with people in a country that's about to be imminently bombed, and everybody knows it. I mean, it might be invaded from what they knew at that point. So there's quite a bit of effort that goes in it here, and then they had to raise the money because I think we all know that they weren't paying for it themselves, right? So there's some other funding that goes involved, that's involved with this. So think about a person standing around raising money or having some sort of benefit or making these kind of connections to get money, and people agreeing with them, saying this is a good form of dissent because that's the highest form of patriotism. Oh my God. I mean, how did we get to this point where these people are actually looked up to on the political left as having some sort of virtue or morals when they're absolutely devoid of them? It's really sort of interesting. And I think, the biggest piece of the effort that caught my attention here of what these folks have to do in order to, organize something like this, some sort of flotilla or, whatever they're called now over in Israel, resupplying Palestine, is they've got to make the connection in the press, right? So I guess that really made me think that without the cameras, without the press, none of this actually exists. And the fact that I could look it up on Wikipedia and find a shitload of information about what, these groups were going to do in 2003, I think it sort of betrays the point that they were actually going to follow through with it. Without the cameras, without the people, without the press, without the fawning and willing media who are so objective at this point, without all of those people, none of this actually happens. Not the effort, not the fundraising, not the crap that's all behind it. So, forgive me for thinking that this might just be a little bit self-aggrandizing and, filling the heads of the gray-haired, sort of long-haired, or, the gray-haired hippie freaks out there who just can't let the 60s go, man. Fight the power still. Ugh, get over it. And I think more than anything, it really made me think about the four people. I kind of put together a thought or a list of four people who sort of embody this and can't figure out why America hates them. And the left, of course, totally supports these people. And the first is, John Kerry going through confirmation hearings right now for Secretary of State. And this is the guy who can't figure out during the 2004 election why somebody might actually question his time in Vietnam. Oh my God, how dare ye, right? So he serves in Vietnam for 4 months, comes home, the first thing he does is absolutely denigrate the troops that he fought with. And I'm sure bad shit happened, I don't have any concept of what that must be like. But that you would make your first move to come back to the United States, sit in front of a House committee, and just run down the folks that you were serving with, I think says a lot about his character and probably was just an attempt to set up a future political career, right? But to have that sort of complete lack of self-awareness that 35 or 40 years later, whatever it was, to run for president in 2004 and then think, oh, I can't believe somebody would question my patriotism. And it's perfectly exemplified by the fact that, he got caught up in a bit of a controversy during the campaign where he says, oh, by the way, I can't believe that anybody would think that it's wrong to throw these medals over the wrought iron fence at the White House. Yeah, I think a lot of people think that's wrong. And then the fact that he says, oh, I didn't actually do that. They were just representations of my medals. So I wanted to keep those. I was actually very proud of what I did. But I wanted to make sure that I had some sort of symbolic protest there. I mean, that's basically it in a nutshell. It's totally hollow, empty action, again, pointed towards self-aggrandizement and self-fulfillment. And then, of course, you've got the media right there behind it, licking their balls the entire time. Second person is Jane Fonda, right? So she can't figure out, recently she said that she can't figure out why people are still pissed at her 45 years later. Might be the fact that you sat on an anti-aircraft battery, like a gun, actually, during a war in North Vietnam, and people still are kind of pissed about that. Yeah, that's called treason. My God, the fact that she wasn't run out of the country or burned at the stake is a miracle. More recently, probably John Walker Lynch, right? Sort of an interesting case. How this guy gets in the Middle East and Afghanistan at such a young age with his total moronic parents have no idea what's going on. He's over there, he's picked up on the battlefield, and the left thinks this guy is somehow wrongly persecuted. Now, it's because, by the way, he wasn't carrying a gun at the time. So, he was only resupplying our enemies as they are literally shooting at our soldiers. But he's not carrying a gun, so it's a little much to give him 25 years in prison. I can't believe he hasn't been martyred for the cause, if you know what I'm saying. Lastly, I guess would be Bradley Manning. What a piece of shit. I mean, this guy's actually serving in the military at the time, where he gives up a ton of information used as propaganda by our enemies in an ongoing war. And he is an absolute hero on the left and in the media for doing this. For somehow speaking truth to power again, back to the 60s, fighting the man and all that crap. I mean, simply put, these people are traitors. Their actions are treasonous. And the fact that they want to give comfort and aid to our enemies is absolutely disgusting. They want to be martyrs. I say next time, we help them out of them.